are so heartless, and you don't care. And I don't even know what I've been fighting for. You got me hoping, and you don't care. And I don't even know what I've been fighting for. Every time I fall in the deep, and I can't fight it, I can't fight it. You wreck my mind, I'm losing my sleep. And you know that it's all that I need, so don't leave me alone. La 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 la, don't leave me alone. La 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 la, don't leave me alone. I know it's reckless, but I don't care. You're dangerously close and I keep going on. You keep me fading, and I don't care. 'Cause I want everything that I've been running from. Every time I fall in it deep, and I can't fight it, I can't fight it. You wreck my mind, I'm losing my sleep. And you know that it's all that I need, so don't leave me alone. La 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 la, don't leave me alone. La 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 la, don't leave me alone. La 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 la, la 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 la.
It takes me such a long time to get my voice up. There we go. Whoa, there we go. To get my voice up. Nice to have a sound check, yeah? Sounds good. All right. And as you can see, this red line is more than 19 miles long. So let's get in there and take a look at it. Now, I made it easy this time. I followed the Adrar province and the Triris Zemmour region separation line right here, as you can see. Now, what's going on here? Okay, I lost something. Let's close down that. That's weird. I thought I had this open here. Probably going to show. Yeah, I hate it when it just shows up. I guess I closed it. All right, so I'm just making these lines. I'm doing a project and thought I'd show you what I'm seeing because it's the first video of the year. And I got a couple projects here. Colorado, lines in KwaZulu-Natal, Canal to the Rashat. That one was kind of a big find last year, right? I thought it reopened my whole belief in Team Rashat. And I can show you that another time. Ancient roads, canals, walls. Now, why did I start doing that? Because I've been looking at all these weird lines, and they don't seem to make sense when you look at them. But the question is are they? I mean, look at that right there. It stops right into it. Now, how do you get a 90-degree, essentially a 90-degree angle? So I've been checking this out for a while, and I thought that I'd go over it a little bit first. I do have a collection of pictures that I keep referring to, but my collection, where is it? Walls. Where was that? Oh, here we are. Ridges, roads, walls. Yeah, I got a lot here. Let's go through them real quick. A bunch from the past. This is South Africa. You know, you see these lines. That's up near the Rashat. That's South Africa. South Africa, this parallel mountain ridges are enormous. Okay, this is something very small, but still you can see these lines. That's kind of weak. You know, those pictures are pretty old. And so when I took them, I didn't know what I was seeing, and I just kind of recorded them. This is more of a wall or a ridge. But we've got see, 250 meters wide, that thing that I showed you near the Rashat. It's kind of mixed up. Those are more gaps and gutters, and this you can even argue is tectonic unevenness, but I don't know. When you look at it again, some of it looks a little bit too symmetrical. This is up near the Sahara, And this is pretty much what I'm going to focus on today. I'm just doing a quick video, another one where you see these lines going for miles and miles. And I guess the biggest question was, this is the Star of Adam in South Africa. And you get these lines that are kind of parallel. See, that's the thing. You see these and you say, oh, well, is that cracked mud? This is different. I don't know. I have to be honest. This is a good one. And yeah, it's all in there. You can find these in my What's This Atlantis, or if you have to go farther back, talk to me. I'll tell you how to get there. It's not hard to find, but when you go through these, you might find some that are not on What's This Atlantis, and that's because they're from an older collection. There, that one right there, the last one. I mean, you're looking at not just a single line, like a single dike, but it's like a duality, a parallelism. Wow, 3 thumbs up. Thanks. One of them's me. Where's that? And you see this, it's double wide right there. So you've got yourself, I'm sorry, double lined, I should say. And when I say that, I mean it's a thick, is it a dike? I mean, they're going through the existing structures, like if this pre-existed before that. And here too, you can see how it cuts through, creates a gutter, a guttural cut through. And yeah, I love that word. Happy New Year, all. So these are some old pictures, and now I want to go through some new stuff. Let's do it real quick. I'm not even going to see who's barking at me. The ones that I'm about to show you are I'm just clicking through the ones that I've already shown you. This one is an interesting one. I love that. I mean, that's not even clear. I don't know why that's so. It's showing the distance, 4 miles long, and it goes right through there. You can see this in the examples, this one. But I don't know why that's so low res. And so when we go here, we can see I was kind of up here. In fact, I can show you a bunch of stuff over here. And it's just crazy. So I'm like, well, there's got to be more. But it's mostly covered in sand. These sand dunes are about 1,000 feet high. I mean, maybe not exactly 1,000 feet, but they're pretty much up there. All right, something happened. I was just checking messages after all. I lied. Okay, so when you get stuff like this happening and you zoom in and see it, and you see 90-degree stops, it's kind of hard to say that's a volcanic dike at that point in time. So I was looking at those, and I found a lot more down here. You've got sand everywhere. But the ones that I found today, and I don't know about this one. This one is kind of a... And you have to be careful. You don't want to grab a sand dune and say that's an ancient line. Those are sand dunes. But when you get in here and you see these arcs, and why I have that line there, I don't know. I haven't found... I think what I did there was I was just marking an area and to look at it. Oh, I was pretty far out. I think I was catching that. So there's I don't like to put the line right on top, so I'll put it kind of next to it. But wow, let's take a crazy look at what I found over here, because that's what made me say, let's turn this on. Just a couple of other lines. Those lines are they cracked mud? Let's take a look at some examples of cracked mud real quick and see if you can find anything. Okay, is that cracked mud? No, I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong picture. That is the Rashad structure, believe it or not. Going from the left all the way to the right side, you can see the entire Rashad structure. I think that's a pretty good picture. But no, I'm looking at stuff like this. Okay, cracked mud. Now that's a highly low-res picture. Let's take a look at this one. Cracked mud. So when you see cracked mud, what you see is the land gets separated and it contracts, right? It's actually separating, drying out, reducing the water. You're getting a gap, and the gap goes down below the mud. I mean, that's what it is. Okay, so I just want to talk about this because somebody did ask about this a while ago, and it made me wonder. Sorry about the noise. It made me wonder, maybe I'm just looking at this really large example of cracked mud. Okay, but when you look at these modern day smaller playa lakes that are cracking apart, you're not getting any solid single line that goes on for any distance. Now remember, this is a lot smaller. You've got cracked mud. Okay, maybe you could call that a solid straight line. Okay, you do probably start with larger, longer lines, and then they divide up in a very natural way. But when you're looking at, forget that, that's the shot. When you're looking at something that's 20 miles long, so let's look at this thing and see what we're looking. And it barely appears through the sand here. Now it's also a low, what do you call it? I don't want to say low res, but just a poor picture from whenever it was taken by the satellites. Over here, you've got something a lot cleaner. But I can see it starting right here, and you can see a separation and having two lines. This is what I find very interesting. Now you can see the two ridges creating the canal effect. Okay, it does disappear. It's not solid. But then it turns. Okay, so when we talk about volcanic dikes, now by the way, now I'm seeing this line here. So does it turn or does it have, see, I don't know what I'm seeing over here. But what I saw before was a turn. And I see this all the time when it does that. It goes farther and then it turns again. Now look how wide it gets. A real sloppy job if it comes to canal making. Because here it stays really skinny and stays skinny and then again turns. And I see this line here. So now we're seeing a pattern of these turns intersecting with some kind of a wall. Could this have been a canal that followed this wall? I mean, if we're getting to natural now, guess what? It's going to clear up a lot. So here we go. Now we can see how clear it gets. We can zoom in a little more. Now it's a good time to measure this. I just gave an overall measurement over here in the yellow of the whole thing. So when I said 19 miles, now we can start a new measurement and go from ridge to ridge and see how many feet across that is. And it's 130 feet. So that wide part is 130 feet. Let's go over here where we saw the super wide area. And the weird thing about how wide it is, why would they do that? It's like they do it on purpose to make it uneven. Look at that, how it's not proportionate. So when I say they, who are we talking about? I didn't want to go there today, but I'm probably going to introduce a new book I've been looking at very soon. Now here, I'm always trying to check myself. Here we can see that there's these lines, and to me, you could say, oh, that looks just like those bulldozer lines, right? But how do they get the bulldozer on the inside? And is that really what we're seeing here is bulldozer? It looks like there's been several breaches over the years. I don't think this is new. I don't think this is modern day. It's in the middle of nowhere. And you have this other line coming up against it over here, which I didn't mark. And when you see a break like that, the first thing that popped into my head was, oh, it's obviously had a tectonic shift. But actually, I've seen other examples of how they will leave gaps like that, and they will allow the different lines to not actually meet, which would do what? It would allow water to pass through there. So why now that one doesn't look like the same thing. That looks different. But are these canals or are these walls? Now to me that looks more like a wall. You don't really have a, let's measure that. You don't really have a, and I do when I see these lines here, okay, it's only 50 feet. So that's like a wall road. When you see the dunes out there, they don't make them this big. When you see the walls that they've created from bulldozers, they don't make them this big. So we've got this line coming from under here. And also, let's not forget that it does run into a wall of mountains. You do see straight lines in these mountains. You see a straight line going from here all the way through. I'm not going to even mark that because, you know, I don't have time to really look at it and see if it's natural or not. I do see natural stuff all the time. So when we're looking at this, I'm not going to say, oh, that's not natural, that's natural. I'm just going to look at it. I love the colors we're seeing here. And you can see this was a major flood plain, water running through here on both sides of that wall. But we're looking at this other thing, and we're following that. Let's keep following it. It's about 130 feet wide. Not, what was that, 17 foot? What was 17? That? Oh, I thought I saw 50. I thought that was 50. I saw the wrong number. 17 feet wide. That's not even wide enough for a 2-lane highway, in my opinion. We've seen 50 feet wide. So that's a lot skinnier. But over here, it's a different story. And the question is, and I believe that these things could have been canals. Though here we have it come together and not be a canal. That tells me maybe it is natural. But it comes back out again and turns back into this canal thing. This is going on for 20 miles. Longer than 20 if you want to measure the corners. Now we do see some sand go right over it all. Over here we see something going on. Is that same line that we saw before? Yeah. That line that we found here is going along the side of it. Like there's some kind of somebody built something. But I want to look at this because this is the big stuff. Are these bulldozer marks right here? They don't look like it to me. They look like very straight. Now, if you ask what country are we in, we're in Mauritania. We're not even close to Morocco. We're not close to the Western Sahara. The berm is over here. So we're out here inside Mauritania, following the ancient Tamanrasset River pathway, which was right there. And it's just a lot of, there's a lot of things we can do. So that breached that, went over it. So this is some type of a canal wall. I mean, we don't even get altitudes from these things. They're just too small. How old could this be? 130 feet wide for 20 miles? Were they moving water? Is that splitting or just widening? So it gets a lot wider here. I put the red mark. I was kind of following it. This is to mark it. It's not to measure it. We got something going on here like a fork or something. And then, of course, we've got this other line out here that's maintaining its side follow, and here it all crosses over. What happened there? Is that like the property line? Do you think that's natural? I'd like to get your feedback. And this thing keeps going. It widens out. It turned over to the right. Something's going on here. How is this natural? What is going on? And by the way, it looks like we've got the canal part here. Let's measure that. From here to here. Again, it's 100 feet, approximately 100 feet. I'm not going to say that 100 exact is going to mean anything. It's 116 there. And then we've got this other part over here. So why it happened, I'm not going to say. But I do see something going on here. And there's all sorts of ancient activity that I do believe is very clearly unnatural and intelligent. Something like this, I don't have enough. You can see all those breaches, right? All those breaches. Which way is it breaching? How long does that take? Now you've got kind of a weird parallel line here, right? And if you notice, you've got a turn going that way, and over here you've got a turn going that direction. So what are those two parallel? And I say parallel with tongue in cheek. It's not exact parallelism, is it? And you got a lot of erosion there. So it's not like it happened this year or last 100 years even. You've got something going on. Now you do have some other strange curvy lines. I mean, I'm convinced already. I know that my viewers are probably not convinced, but I can show examples. If you go to Was This Atlantis, I got it here. I can show you recently I found one of these lines that just cut through the mountain so clearly right here. Why is it always... Got to get it separated out from whatever that message was. So you've got this cut going through these rocks, and it looks like it's even forming the rocks. Like right there, either they cut through rocks or they created it with a concrete or cement that is wearing away. I mean, that was just too straight for me. We can zoom in there, and this was going along a lot farther, but this part, it was clearly going through a ridge of rocks. So when we see something like this, I have no problem believing that it was unnaturally created. Now this looks more like a wall. Where you see the parallel like that makes it feel like it's a canal, but built up canals, some type of a, or maybe it has nothing to do with canal, boats. It has nothing to do with boats. It has to do with moving water to agricultural areas. I do believe that this is a major floodplain, and the idea that it could be cracked earth, why is that happening, or cracked mud, has dawned on me, especially when you look at the arches that I found, these arches. But you don't see, like that one you can say, okay, that's cracked and that's cracked. I'm talking about this part here. This part here and this part here, you can kind of see that pattern. But when you go out, you see it here, it crossed over like that. And they are near what I consider playa lakes or floodplains or salt flats. This one kind of barely, I just marked it. There's a lot of lines in here that I'd have to study and then decide what's a natural sand dune and what's not. Okay, this, we didn't even get to the end. Let's just follow it all the way. We were there. We got close, right? And it got pretty wide up here. Like, then we saw those parallel lines. We see this curve, and then I followed it out to there and stopped. I didn't really see. Let me just follow it real close for one time. So again, we came up here to these parallel lines. Whether or not this has any natural use or natural explanation, I would have to really be convinced. And the reason why is from what I found up above this, the quarrying lines. Okay, these, and I have to be honest, I don't usually see these lines here like this, so this could very well be a dune a berm created by a bulldozer, but for 20 miles, it's a little long. And it's longer than 20. It's just that the straight line, as the crow flies, was 20. So you could probably get it up to 30. It just doesn't make sense to me. All right, let's see if there's anything else I can show you before I go. I just wanted to have a quick video for the new year to test out. Everything looks green. Everything looks like it's working. We'll see how it comes up. Tudini Prison. The Tudini Prison here. It's right there. That's the ancient prison. That was just closed 50 years ago. And you can kind of see stuff. It's probably the grave sites. And that's a fort. And then we have this perfect circle right there for some reason. Not sure why that formed. But you can also see the salt mines out there where they did the actual mining. I think that's actually a little farther out. Like out here or something. You can find them where they dug salt and supplied the world with salt out in the middle of the Sahara. The prisoners had to do that work. But all around this, you've got these lines that go on for miles and miles. The question I have is there some sort of a ancient, or I don't want to say ancient, is there some sort of a modern day explanation for this? Just one other thing, I've been looking at this for about 4 years now. I found these first around this fish. I call that a little fish. That's a playa lake. You know, I've never really studied the playa lake itself that close. but I've always used it as reference. I mean, you have something going on there. Like that looks like they created another little pool for creating salt. And then you have a straight line there. That's like a wall, right? That's like a wall that goes straight to the Playa Lake. These mysteries just keep going on and on here. But right by the fish is the first lines I've ever found. So I came back and marked them. You still see a few others. The one that I would really like to understand, and this is one that I should mark here. It just doesn't seem like it's cracked earth when it goes this long. I mean, how far are we talking about? That's a long way right there, from here to here to here, and it disappears. That's 50,000 feet. That's 10 miles right there. And the fact that it just looks so curvy and not natural is like a. And you also have, look at those lines underneath. Let's just mark these real quick. You know, you've got, oh, there it is. There's the other one. That's not what you see when you look at the cracked earth. Let me just go to the projects and mark it. It seems like, what's that? Why am I getting, no, I thought I was making a line. Here we go. So it seems like you've got this line here kind of coming this way and getting really close, right? If I'm mistaken, I could be mistaken. I'm kind of estimating here, but I think I'm getting something like that. And then you can see it right there after it comes out from under the sand dune. And I'm just gonna stop right there and turn it red, and then let's go and look at it real close. Now there's one more I see that's going this direction, and there's that other one that's going this direction. Here, this is the one I want to get right here. So you can see the intersection here, and you can see the intersection here. Now these are the ones I found a long time ago, and I kind of forgot all about them. But the parallelity of that curved, those two curved lines that cross this one, are a big question for me. So all I can do, oh wait, is it stopping right there? That's interesting. Is it going under the sand? It doesn't look like it is. It looks like it's going along the side right there. But I'm going to stop it there because I'm not so interested in making it perfect. And you get something that, oh wait, now I can continue because I see that and I see that. So now I can continue. Let's stretch it out and put it right here now. This is just for demarcation purposes. I'm not trying to measure right now. I'm just trying to remind myself where these places are. So I guess it did go under the sand. And these are 1,000-foot tall sand dunes. And sometimes you can come out, you can kind of see other lines. Look at this one. Look at that one. It's like, what's going on under there? That's the thing that blows my mind. What is going on under there? So this is what I do in my spare time. I just sit here and mark these lines like that, and kind of have a second one that I wanted to grab. You can do it all day long. And the question is how do you prove that they're natural occurrences in geology? It's kind of tough for me to justify it once I've seen what's going on in other places. See, you can kind of see that line right there. And see, that's the reason why it's right there. So now I can back out. I can grab this. I can stretch it out now and put it to there. And you can see another one below it here. So the question you have to ask yourself, and look at the shapes there. Look at that. So you've got a line just butting into another line. Are we talking about waterways? Are we talking about canals? It's a big question. It's all under the sand. And if you mark them all and look at them, you might start to see some patterns. That's why I'm doing it. Up here, we've got this one. It kind of goes, oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's a lot cleaner than I thought. It looked like it was getting pretty nasty there. So I think I'll mark that as well. So now you know what I do in my free time. I don't go to the clubs. I don't go to the bars. I demarcate. I'm just going to stop it like that and then turn it red, and then maybe I can follow it and stretch it out again. You know, you can see that line going here, and kind of there's another line here. What line is that? Is that one of the other ones? Maybe it's... Why would they separate? I can kind of see that one going this direction. I feel like there are no straight lines in this ancient time. So that's what I do, and you can do it too. Maybe we can even share. Now, if you're not sure what I'm showing you here, this is an amazing area. When you zoom in here, you can easily start to see a lot more of these walls. I don't bother marking these because well, there's a lot of things. I mean, I've been in here before, and you can see there's some type of ancient mining going on. This is not natural anymore. You see the parallel lines that have been cut across these plateaus. They go on for miles. I don't know how it was done. Ancient machines, some type of laser technology. And if you go over here, you can also see the same thing. It's just incredible to me. And this can go 3D. Let's get rid of this. I'm not going to go in there and mark all these lines. Something's been going on in here, and I don't think it's the modern day government doing this. There's a lot of erosion. It looks very similar to what I've seen in Utah, in other parts of Africa, in Colorado. So that's the thing. A lot of stuff was going on in here in the middle of the Sahara Desert. This is all Mali right here. This is Mali. That is Mauritania. And then up here we've got Algeria, which is what I just showed you. There's lots of stuff going on up here. Everywhere you can find this stuff. So I like to stay on the lines and follow the borders and see if you can see anything that's apparently not natural. There's all three countries in one spot. If you want to go to Mali, Mauritania, and Algeria and stand on three countries at once, that's where you go. I hope you have a good year, and I do definitely want to do more videos more often, and I have a plan to create shorter videos. Let's keep it going, folks. Have a great day. Make sure you're subscribed, please. Thank you. Where are we?